All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, universe. Um, I'm Anthony Vu. I'm here with Hans Komain, and today we wanted to talk about seduction, because I think a lot of people have different definitions of it. Um, some people think it's like to lead astray. Others think of it as a dance. And Hans has a really interesting, I guess, definition and how he describes seduction.
Mm.
And I guess I wanted to, I guess, push further and really define what seduction means in the context of the course that we're doing, but also the artistic approach to, I guess, romance
Mm.
and all of that.
Right. Well, it's a subject that I love very much, because I have a very philosophical, artistic approach to seduction, and yeah, I get this question, or I get the the questions about it a lot because in our day and age, seduction still has a very, I would say, negative connotation. And especially in the States, seduction is almost seen as a tool, a tool to get from the other what we covertly desire. So it's very much like a tool to, if you're thinking about men, to get women into bed, and that's a
Hmm.
very narrow definition to me of seduction, one that makes it that we have a very negative connotation of it, and also one that doesn't allow for a real exploration of seduction, of what it is and what role it can play in our lives, in the relationships we have with ourselves, with our friends, with our lovers, with our family, with the universe. And so, yeah, I believe you prepared a couple of questions to really like dive into it, and
Yeah.
and that's also the way I function best. Instead of like teaching, you ask me where, you yeah, where there's unclarity for you, and I can maybe pick in there.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So my first question is like, what is seduction to you? And I think you've said that it's like the creation of beauty,
Right.
but I was wondering if you can go elaborate more on that. So if I create an art piece, is that seduction too? So like, if you can
Well,
elaborate.
to me, it could be very seductive. But when I say creation of beauty, I see it as an art form. And if you see the painter, painting is his art form, and he has the canvas on which he expresses himself. For me, seduction is the art form in the sense that the encounter with the other, this moment in time with the other where you meet him or her, this is the canvas. This is the stage on which you perform, or on which you dance with the other. This is so the interaction, the encounter is the place where you can express yourself, express your ideas, take someone to a different world. And so it's very much, yeah, to me, it's the ultimate art form. It's one that is without uh, rules so far, and very little tradition, which is, or very little articulated tradition. Not many people talk about it, think about it, converse about it, write about it. But yeah, to me, it's the ultimate one, because it's every encounter you have, every interaction with a person is an opportunity to seduce, and to
Okay.
hone your craft, so to speak.
Okay. So that's a very like, I guess, open and definition of seduction. Like it includes
well,
every interaction, right?
in that, because you can interact in many ways, you can fight, you can whatever. In
Hmm.
that, the seduction is the creation of beauty. When I'm conversing with you, and I'm a seducer, I see it as my role to lead this interaction as much as I can into glory, which means I will
Okay.
present myself a certain way, I will listen to you a certain way, I will talk to you a certain way. And the outcome for me is that we come away from this interview and think, wow, this was something different. This is something I didn't think of. This is inspiring. This is beautiful, you know? And in that sense, seduction is the creation of beauty in the encounter with the other. You know, it's a, it's very much, well, not very much, but it's a bit like a stand-up comedy, but in which the viewer plays an even more important role. You know, it's not just important that the other laughs, but it's that the other is amazed. It's that the other not is just horny, you know, or happy, but you allow the other to wonder that, wow, is there something out there? Something is calling me. That sentiment, you know, that's the creation of beauty. That's the creation of wonder. And to me, is the highest good. You know, it's the highest good to be in that place, to be in the place where you wonder about life. You go, wow, you know, you get a hint that another world is possible, is out there. And so if that is the greatest good, then to be able to give that to someone, you know, is the greatest gift to me. And so that's why I say it's the ultimate art and the ultimate art form in creating beauty. Does that make sense? Or did I?
Yeah, I sort of understand it. And I think where there was a lot of confusion is when we were talking about this in the group, a lot of it's in the context of meeting and dating women, right?
Right.
And so this is like kind of one of the biggest questions I guess me and Alvaro had was like, when it comes to seduction with a woman, right? So from your definition, I take it as you can seduce anyone. You know, you can create this amazing experience with your mother, with your brother, with your friends, you know. But when it particularly, you know, has to do with women, how much does the sexual connotation of that word actually play the role in the meaning? So do the interactions have to be sexual, romantic, or have a romantic premise?
Well, I have a very large definition of seduction, as you can see. You know, for me, it's very much a way of moving through the world as a leader. You know, looking to express myself authentically, taking care of the other, also. You know, doing my best to take care of the other. It's, for me, one of the most beautiful practices of love is to seduce. You know, and take that responsibility for the interaction. And but then, of course, you know, my role as a seducer is different with you, as it is different with my parents, or is different with, say, women, or is different with women that I'm interested in. You know, but it's a gradual difference. There's a role for me in each of those interactions. You know, and with a lot of guys, this is the issue that comes up with a lot of guys. When we think about the seduction of women, and guys will say, well, I will only seduce the women that I'm interested in sexually, you know? And to me, that's a very narrow, self-limiting way of looking at seduction. It's like, I love women and I will seduce all women all the time. Now, that doesn't mean that I want to be intimate with all of them, but there's some women I want to be intimate with, and I'm a little different in that seduction as well. I often say, you have to give your charm to everyone. You know, your charm is for everyone, for all the people in the world, for all the women in the world. But your most seductive arrows, you know, you keep them for the ones you're really seduced by.
Okay.
You know? But it's way more a gradual difference. It's not, oh, I see a woman I'm attracted to, I'm turning on my seductive switch, you know, and then, no, what I do is I'm always a seducer. From the moment I get up till I go in my dreams, I'm a seducer. I'm always a seducer. So I don't switch it off, I don't switch it on, but I do different things with, say, men or women, or women I'm not sexually interested in, for example, and women I am sexually interested in. But the difference is way more gradual, and I advise it to a lot of men, because if you're only a seducer when with the women that you're sexually attracted to, you know, that's a very you're not going to get much practice. It's like you try to play you try to become a great guitarist and you only want to play with great guitars, you know? No, you know, you play with any guitar you can get your hands on. You know, every great guitarist does that, and it's that, yeah, it's that comparison you can make. It's that there's a similarity there with playing a guitar and practicing, and then you'll be better once you get a great guitar in your hands as well. You know.
Okay. So that makes a lot more sense. So you're always trying to lead these interactions and lead these relationships into glory,
Yes.
and that itself is seduction. But
Yes.
for the women that you're sexually interested in, that's when you know show her you have a penis, right? That's when you express that desire.
Yeah, I don't show that to my family, for example. But yes,
Okay.
and it's a gradual. It's the same thing in the sense that in each of those interactions, I express my authentic self. You know, which means when there's a woman I'm sexually attracted to, that's something I express to her. You know, and so it's no different than when I meet, say, a great painter, and I express my fascination and my love for the work, you know, because that's then part of me. So I express that too. In that seduction with a woman that's beautiful and I'm sexually attracted to, I show that part because that's very present to me in that moment. But it's the same leadership, it's the same truth, it's the same sincerity, it's the same expression of my own authentic self, and it's the same taking care of the other. It's just in little different ways.
Oh, wow. I mean, that just really opened kind of
Right.
my perspective, because I thought, seduction is, this narrow thing,
Yes.
trying to get laid and all that stuff. But
imagine with you, Anthony, I'm being a seducer. I do the exact same things. I am taking responsibility. I'm leading the interaction as much as I can, my role in that. I'm expressing my authentic self, my truth, my sincerity, and I take care of you as well. I take care of this whole interaction. It's the same thing, but different, say, dance steps, and maybe a different dance.
Okay. This conversation we're having kind of reminds me of, and I don't know if it's okay to bring him up, like Zan.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, of course.
Because I'm not sure if you guys are like, I don't know.
Oh, I got to tell you something. So in the beginning of the year, we had after our breakup, we didn't talk for like 2 years. And in the beginning of the year, to get over my own, because I still harvested anger and like and self-righteousness, and I could make a great case against him, and that's not a way forward. And I chose to honor him in an interview I did with him, and I took 10 minutes to honor his path, his message also, and also what he's done for me. And it was an incredible weight that fell off my shoulders, and it instantly shifted the whole dynamic that we had, and I was in Romania the past month, and we met, and it was like old times. It was just fantastic. It was there, and the girls were there, and we was just laughing and crying, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So yeah, I want to make a point of always honoring Zan, because he's a great man, and yeah, he's come a long way, has a great message, and he has changed my life, so it's I want people to know that, so yes, bring him up.
Okay, I bring him up because I listened to some of his talks, and like he's always flirty with women, from what it sounds like. Even the ones he isn't like sexually desire, but he's still very flirty, very playful. And he flirts. And flirting, at least to me, is an expression of your sexuality.
Right.
Can be I think a lot of times an expression of desire.
Yes.
And so he's doing that to the woman that he finds unattractive, which is so hard for me to do, because it doesn't feel genuine. So I know you know him on a very personal level. So what do you think that he does like differently than most other guys do?
Well,
when it comes to that?
it's it's a great example of being a seducer. You know, I'm very similar
Uh,
in it that I'm always, when I'm with women, like with you, I won't, with men I won't have it, but when I'm with women, I will express the fact that I'm a man, you're a woman, I like it. You know, there's a dynamic here, there's a polarity. You have a role of a woman, I have a role of a man, and that's in a way expressing, it's in a way this expressing my penetrative force as a man. You know, it's expressing in a way my power to destroy. It's expressing the fact that I'm a sexual being. You know, it's there, but less with the women I'm not attracted to. I will less express the fact I want you. You know,
mm,
I may play around that, play with that. I may flirt, and Zan is very similar in that. You know, especially when there's women around that are less attractive by societal standards. I feel that as a seducer, I feel it is my role to do what I can to make her feel like a woman. And part of that is the
mm,
flirting, is saying, well, you know, because
okay.
yeah, that's a great gift. You know, that's a great gift. That's a great way of, and it helps you. You know, when a woman that you really attracted to comes along, you know, you will have that practice, but also she will see it how you treat other women. You know, and I can't stress it enough how important it is. What is different is when when I see it with Zan, but I can much better speak about me. You know,
Mm,
I will always whenever there's women around express the fact that I I I love sex. I'm a man and I love women. You know, and it will be there. It will come when I go into a room. It's the first thing that comes in. You know, it's the first thing that comes in is I'm a sexual being, and it's different. That I think the difference is this: with those women, you give them your charm. You give them also. That's a good question, actually. You give them also the fact that you're a man, she's a woman. I like it. I like this interaction, um, but maybe less the fact of I want you. You know, that's less present with the women that you're not so attracted to.
okay.
But I will when I'm with a woman and I can
Mm,
see that she's less attractive by societal standards. I will flirt even more. I will make her feel good that way. I will hint upon and suggest, uh, and there will be no misunderstanding. But it's that way of interacting. You know, there's a there's some plausible deniability around it, you know, and some willful
mm,
ignorance about it. And it's a kind of a game. It's that flirty thing, you know, and women do it all the time as well. You know, women do it all the time, and what happens there when you think about that, Anthony, is that it completely opens up, you know, your
mm,
opportunities to seduce, you know, your opportunities to lead, your opportunities to take care of people, your opportunities to feel like a man in those moments when you can take care of the other, when that girl that's not so attractive and you can make her feel like, whoa, you know, this guy sees me. That's a fantastic thing you give to the world, you know.
yeah, it's so subtle because, and I think maybe it's stage one in the seduction. It's like stage one trying to get her to like you. And so it's very hard to open, like, kind of get out of that taking set, you know, because I just don't have a lot of experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think that's a really powerful shift because then I guess how I'm imagining it right now, you come to the world a lot more open.
Yes.
And
How when you're shifting from stage one to stage two, the way to shift is to constantly express yourself,
okay.
self-expression until you find your voice. Express yourself, express your truth, express what's going on, express yourself, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
but what I'm talking about is stage three, and that's it. That's the highest form. And the only way to get to stage three is to take on responsibility, to take it on. And most guys do not know what it means, but to take the responsibility for every interaction, to say, whoever I meet, whatever it is, I take 100% responsibility for the glory of that interaction. It doesn't mean that you take responsibility for how they feel. It doesn't mean that it will always be a success, but you take that responsibility and you carry that burden. And it's a beautiful thing. And I also say all man's work is a bloody business. It's a burden, it's a job, it's work, but it is also something that will give you honor. It's something that make you instantly feel like, wow, I did that when I go and dance with the girl that no other guy wants to dance with, I did that. And she feels great about that. I did that. I created that beauty. I created that good feeling. When I go back and I honor Zan, even though I was feeling also anger, I did that. I took charge of that, and it's a great creation of beauty. And I feel that honor instantly. I feel the honor. I feel the honor when I make that woman feel good. And so it's a great opportunity to step into a leadership role, but it's the most advanced stage of being a seducer, and that's taking that responsibility. Before that, it's really about expressing yourself until you get to the point where you get to know yourself enough, you love yourself enough, and you say, okay, what stand do I now want to make in the land of women? What kind of man do I want to be for the women in my life? What kind of man do I want to be for the women I meet, for the people around me, for my people, for my tribe, for my family, for my father, for my sisters, for my children? And that's a very, to me, that's the stage I'm talking about when I think about seduction as the creation of beauty and the ultimate art form.
Yeah, I think, that was really, really powerful. And I think there's a lot of people that would like to get to that stage. I think in stage one, it feels like there's like a mental block in a way. Because when I'm standing next to a girl that's not attractive by societal standards, something, I don't know, it's just like this feeling that I don't want to be there,
Right.
that comes up.
Well,
and
there are two things.
Yeah.
There's short term and long term, Anthony. And short term, you can't deny what you want, and you only have so much attention and love to give and energy, and that's a managerial issue. But in the long term, if you want to be a seducer, you should seek to enlarge your seductive prowess. You should be able to be seductive in more and more situations. If you think you have a block, Anthony, you can instantly shift into it when you think not in terms like how do I get laid with her, and which is important, but if you really think about your vision you have with for your life, what kind of man do you want to be for the women in your life, for your children maybe later? What kind of stories do you want to tell them? And even closer to yourself, you can remember the vision exercise that we did with Michael Sky. When you think of the stand you want to make, and you remind yourself of that stand, and it's very clear in your head, you instantly get past those blocks. For example, if you know that you want to be a great seducer, I stand for being a great seducer, and it's front and center of your mind. Next time you meet that girl, and you're not attracted to her, you're going to say, hey, I made a stand to be a seducer. Now, what does it mean in this interaction to be a seducer? And you will act accordingly. If your vision is clear, if your stand is clear, it will instantly shift. Instantly. It's not something you need to go like work on and get through. If you make that stand and you made that stand, you will feel it. You will feel, yes, that's who I am. That's who I am. And you will know what to do when you're standing next to a woman.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And I think my definition for seduction has expanded, because before it was very narrow. And so for my vision, it was basically get laid with a bunch of people, right? And so of course it kind of makes sense. It makes sense why I wouldn't talk to that I guess, less attractive girl.
Yes.
But if I expand that definition and expand the idea of what it means to be a seducer, then it includes everyone. And
Yeah.
so I gotta rewrite that after this call. Okay.
And you
So
have the ability. You have the ability because I see the way you talk with me. You're charming. You know. So don't deprive the world of that talent, man. Because that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful gift.
yeah, I appreciate it. So clear when seduction when it comes to someone that you're attracted to,
Mm-hmm.
the desire and the role of desire is a lot more prominent, right? And it's a lot more, it's a must. So I just want to make that have some clarity on that.
Yeah, for me, actually, I never thought of this, but I will tell you this is it is much less when I'm in the presence of a woman that I like, the shift in expressing my desire is minimal, is not a huge difference than when I am with women that I not necessarily desire. But what shifts, this is funny, I never thought of this, but what shifts is that I start thinking about logistics. I start thinking about where I can take it from here to say more intimate, that I'm one-on-one. How I can get, I'm imagining now meeting a woman in the street, or I'm imagining meeting a woman in a social situation in a bar, and I think about logistics of how I can be with her one-on-one. Because when I'm one-on-one, I feel very confident. So I'm trying to line up the logistics so I'm one-on-one, because when I'm there, I can really, I know I will express my truth. I know I will express my sincerity. And I know that with whatever I do, my desire for her will shine through as well, you know? So I'm not thinking, oh, I have to turn it up. I have to express more my sexuality. Not at all. I'm thinking, how can I get alone with her? You know, that's what I'm thinking. So that's a bit different. I'm very much the same guy with a woman that I'm not attracted to as a woman that I am attracted to. But when I'm alone with her, then it becomes a little different. And so when I meet her, I am seeing what I can do to get us in a more intimate space. I never thought of that, but that's a bigger difference than me expressing my desire to her, or like amping the volume of my sexuality. Wow, that's a great insight I I get on this call.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Okay. Wow, that's such a big, I guess, insight. So when you're showing up to any woman in the world, you're really speaking to her femininity, to that like feminine
Yes,
spirit. And so that's what allows you to stay the same person, is because you're not talking to a different girl, you're still talking to the feminine. And
exactly.
yeah,
I
okay.
and there are many ways to do this. I remember Kelly Malzett, he's a friend also of Zan, and one of my great examples. He's a bit of a hero to me, and he's 52, 3, I don't know, more, and he's the most sexual guy I ever meet. But I've never seen him express his desire for her to her. He just comes in a room, and it's like he has a neon sign above his head. It's like, I'm here to fuck. and if he wants him, I'm here. And he's the same with everyone. And he's so, like, he's the center of the party, and he takes care of everyone, you know? men and women alike. He's just taking care of everyone. He's not, oh, this is a girl I like, I spend more time. No, you will feel like a king when you're around him. You know, and he's very caring and giving his energy to everyone, you know. And at the same time, you just know, I swear to you, Anthony, you just know after 1 second when you see him, you see, oh fuck, this guy is an animal, you know. And he's not
Wow.
he's not
Okay.
expressing it to the girl in front of him. In fact, his latest girlfriend, he tells me this, you know, and he was just talking with her, you know, and not expressing his desire to her. He was just talking and la 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 la. And she said, when are you gonna kiss me? So he was amping up the energy just by him being the way he is, without ever expressing that to her and saying, I want you, you know. And you have different styles about it. I am more like, I tell more to a girl like, I want you, you know. But the more I accept my sexuality and the more it oozes from my every cell,
Mm,
the less I need to even say it, you know. It's just there. It's in the air, you know. I don't need to say it.
okay. And I looked a little bit, I guess, forward into the way Seducer program,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't look into it too much, but there's this thing that you wrote about being the hunter, right?
Right,
Kind of chasing her down, chasing the
right,
gazelle down.
right.
You're like the lion, right? Okay, it sounds contradictory to the more open and like, you know,
Yes.
I like women, but in that context, and I don't know too much about it because I'm still at the first
Yes.
module, but it's like, I want you, I'm gonna hunt you, right? I'm
Right.
gonna go after you. And so if you can talk more about that.
Well, like I said, different styles, you know. And this came from a
Okay.
discussion with Zan also. When Zan says, I never chase, you know, I never chase. And I say, no, I think the chase is beautiful. I think a woman wants to feel chosen, you know. And the trouble is never the chase. The trouble is being attached to the kill. When we chasing is glorious to me. It's very much part of masculinity, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
it makes her feel special, you know. If it could be, I'm just talking one side of the style now, you know, one style I'm talking now. You know, I can make a case for the other one as well, but I'm making a case for the hunt right now. And in my experiences, some of the uh, most beautiful relationships started with a hunt and a conquest, you know, and there was
Mm.
work put in, and because of that, it had the energy also. And I, I'm like I said, there are different styles, but the chase is never the problem. The chase is never a problem. It's being attached to the kill. When the lion hunts the gazelle, you know, he hunts it with everything he has, all his power, ferocity, going after it. When he doesn't get the kill, he's not sitting there moping, you know, fuck, I didn't get her. I hope nobody saw me. I feel ridiculous, you know. So it's the
Yeah.
attachment to the kill that's a much bigger problem than the chase. So, but like I said, different styles. I can see, you know, that I shift maybe more on a general level, more like broadcasting my sexual nature, you know. But yeah, you can do both. You can be broadcasting it, and when you really, 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 really special woman, you know, you're gonna hunt her down. I think it's a beautiful thing as well.
Yeah. Okay. This is a lot to take in.
Yes.
In a way, like, don't you think they're a bit contradictory in a sense? Where the hunt, you're only looking for that one that you really desire,
Right.
right? But I suppose that's what you mean when you say save your most seductive arrows for the one you're attracted to. That's when the hunt kind of switches on. Is
Exactly.
that right?
Actually, it's completely 100% the same as what I said a half hour ago. You know, you're charming and you're seductive with everyone, and then there's something going on with the woman you really like. You know, and you mark her. You know, and then you hunt her down. You know, and there is power in that. To me, they're not contradictory at all, you know. But if you want, maybe it will make more sense that yes, you're charming and you're broadcasting to all the women in the world, and when there's one that you really like, that one you mark for pursuit and you hunt her down.
Okay. Yeah. I like that because then you're not that weird guy just going after, you know, the hot
Right.
girls, like running around and like chasing all the time, which is like what I
Imagine,
tend to do.
imagine the
Yeah.
lion. Imagine the lion is in the middle of a herd of gazelles, you know, and it's right there for the taking. He'll take it, you know. He doesn't
Mhm.
need to hunt it. He won't do it. But if he's hungry, you know, and if or he really wants a certain gazelle, you know, and want that one, he'll go for it, you know. So I think both have a place. It's beautiful.
Mhm. Okay. And this kind of segues to my kind of last question. It's you, I think you've written a post about what it means to seek to be seduced, right?
Right,
We talked about seduction as like our role as men and seducers to create
right.
that seduction, that moment, and lead that relationship to glory. So what do you, if you can elaborate and go deeper on what it means to seek to be seduced?
Well, I'm happy you asked this because I was just talking with a friend. To me, this is the highest good, you know. I know my role. It's like this. Um, in my experience, when you know what you want and you go with all your might for what you want, then and only then life will give you what you need. Not what you want. You may get what you want or you don't, but it will give you what you need. And so, um, in the same sense, I take the responsibility of being a seducer and leading all my interactions into glory. I do what I can, you know, I do everything I can, and I go full force, fearless, and with everything I have, I go for it. Uh, because then, and only then, I stand the chance of life giving me what I need. And when I say that, I think of being seduced. By being seduced, I mean it's the gift. What I'm trying to give to others, life is giving to me. It's a surprise. It's a beautiful thing. It's out of my control. It's falling in love. It's being inspired. It's being fascinated. It's a gift. I didn't expect it. It's
Mm.
I cannot take any credit for it. It's the greatest good. It's God or the universe giving you. And so I seek to be seduced first and foremost. And the way I do it is by seducing, by playing my part, by doing what I think
Oh.
I am meant to be doing here on earth. I pay my dues, I do my job, I show up, I take responsibility. And then I have a chance of receiving that gift, you know. And I never know if it's coming. I don't know when or if it's coming, you know, but the moments that I've been seduced, that I've been receiving that gift is the greatest. It's the most beautiful. It's the most beautiful because it's out of your control. It's out of your control. And people always talk about self-improvement and you know, I'm creating, and I'm a big defender of my creative power. I've created the world I live in, and but to receive that gift of seduction, it trumps everything, you know. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. When I was seduced by a woman, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. When I see a landscape that is really touching me, it's beautiful. When there's a song that sings to me, it's the most beautiful thing. When I see a stand-up a comic and he makes me laugh and I feel he's touching about something that I couldn't express, I'm so grateful. It's such a great gift. I am seduced. And so I seek to be seduced first and foremost. And what I learned is the only way to stand a chance of being seduced is to do my work, to do my job, and for me, that is to practice love by means of seduction. That's very existential.
Wow. Okay. I think I had like a misconception of what that meant, because I thought that meant, okay, you sit around and wait for the beautiful woman to walk by and then you go after her, right? And then you're seduced.
Right.
But I think that that critical part that you mentioned was you need to put in the work,
You need to put in the
right?
work. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I understand a lot why you tell us to do our missions. That's like the most important thing in the course.
Yes.
It opens that kind of a portal for beauty to come in, for
That's
you to
ex-
be seduced.
that's
Yeah.
exactly true. That's exactly true.
Yeah. And sometimes, and I'm gonna add on to this because I mean you've spent so much more time than me in the land of women, but for the committed 4.5 months that I've been doing this, sometimes you're gonna like go out for months or like a month or maybe two, and you don't see beauty, and it just feels like hard work a
Yes.
lot of times.
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. I've only had like two or three, 4 moments that like I really felt, viewed, like felt seduced out
Man,
of hundreds.
Anthony, when
Yeah.
there's going to be a moment, for example, and you're going to fall in love with a woman, you're going to think, "Wow, this woman is great," and then, and you're going to see that she's in love with you, and you're going to create something that's going to be so fucking magical. It will feed you for the rest of your life, and it doesn't need to be that you falling in love on both parts, but it could be that. Or I remember the first time. I remember I was with this girl that I just thought, wow, she's a goddess. She was from Madagascar. She was beautiful. Oh, her skin and her eyes. And I remember sitting with her in a bar drinking rum in Brussels, just talking a miles a minute. And I really like wanted her, but I had no clue on what to do. I was just talking, you know. And this was before any of, seduction. No, I was just starting. And we were walking home. I was going to drop her off at her place. She stayed with another friend of mine, a girl. And we walked past the hotel, and she looks at me and she says, "We could go in here," you know. And that I'll never forget it, because this girl to me was like top. She still is a top girl. And I remember thinking, if it's possible with this girl, then I can have any girl. I can have any girl.
Mm.
And those moments are so magical. Or when I fell in love with a woman, and she fell in love with me, and we traveled the world. We were together for a year, and it was magical. And every day I woke up, I thought, fuck, this is getting even better. And that that memory is just priceless, and it's worth all the work you put in. I just
Mm.
received a great message of her, because we didn't speak for 6 years or so, and we have some incredible closure on it. When I get that message, it's incredible. It's so life affirming. We're sitting at a table last week, Michael and Maria and me, and Michael asked Maria, "Who is Hans to you?" And what she said was just incredible. Something like the hat maker, Maria. Like how I changed her life, and how her life is now completely different. And the way she said it is just, those moments is why I do it, and I don't need many of them to keep going. It's there, and yeah, that's why it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it, man. Is the greatest gift. Is the greatest gift to be seduced. There's nothing. There's no bigger victory than that. There's no bigger peace than that. There's no bigger erection than that.
You got that right.
Is glorious, man, when it happens. But you gotta put in the work.
Mm. Yeah. And I know you have to go, and I really want to respect your time. I think this is a great place to end it. And to add one more thought I wanted to add on is that you can't really have an expectation for that, huh? At all.
Well, like I say, you could chase it down, but but don't be attached to the kill. Means you can expect it from the universe, but don't expect it from that girl that you're with. It's because it's out there and it could happen, and so
okay. Expect it from the universe. Okay, that's good, because I've been on this whole road, just like no expectations, keep running in the dark. But okay, I can hold on to that dream, that vision. Okay.
That's great. Hey, I wanna honor you too, Anthony. I see that you're really, like, I see you on the course, and I think you have the great spirit. You're very you're very free, and exploring all this with unbridled enthusiasm, and that's the greatest attitude. And you're very committed. You're doing the missions, and it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. I was in my 30s before I started applying my work ethic to the encounter with women, and in the past decade, it really is. I'm so happy that I went that way, but I started very late, so no worries, man.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah.
And thank you for inviting me, because I love talking about this, and I think it's a real good issue, and I'm happy we put it on a video so everybody get to see it now. So thank you very much.
Well, you invited me. You're the one who seduced me, so. All right. Yeah.
Great. All right, Anthony. Thank you very much. I'm going to end the recording.
Okay.